Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
And I'm like commenting it.
I got some bars to these.
Run Ryan.
And everything have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
What grade?
That one at the go.
Yes, because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United. And for reasons beyond our control, we had to do the day after kind of review, And if we get into things one time, we first away game of the season and it looking like more of the same from last season, eh? We now start the season and we done on the second terrible session, Right? Now, fellas, imagine Ange Postecoglou never win a Premier League game before yesterday. Right? Gary O'Neill, and we're talking about the Wolves manager here, only had a few days to prepare, his team, and yet them and Spurs look more settled and prepared mentally and physically than Manchester United. Right now, that had to be a major concern. And I being honest, right? We have a little under 2 weeks to save the season. Right? Now, truth be told, for people who would have watched the game, we had a good first half, Right? But again, we've fallen off. And because we ain't giving ourselves nothing to show for, right? In that little purple patching game that we be having, is either we go draw or loss. Right? Anyway, what we saying, fellas? What we saying? Are they worried?
I was called negative after the Wolves win, and people are telling me that we started better this season than last season, because last season we started with a 4-0 drubbing to Brentford, or was it 2-0? Can't remember. Anyway, it was a loss. And I think a lot of people got to realize that I'm one of these people that I analyze both the positive and the negative of a football game, right? I don't look at a game. I don't see it as just a 1-0, 3 points. I analyze the entire game from the first minute to the 90th minute, or this season could be 97, 98, 110 minutes, right? I saw our midfield exposed in the Wolves game, and I said that the likes of Basuma and Sarr and James Madison would have a field day with us. And men call me negative, and men say Bruno don't play bad in 2 games, and lo and behold, look what happened yesterday. This weekend was a shit show. And am I worried? I won't be fully worried until the transfer window is closed, because we can still make reinforcements. And I expect us to make a good 3 or 4 panic signings in the next couple of weeks, right? I'm calm right now. I haven't gone off on any rant. I'm not raising my voice. I'm just saying what I think. But come transfer deadline day, and we still have the same midfield, then you kind of gotta get worried. Yesterday was disgusting. It was disrespectful to us fans, because we have been waiting at least a good 3-4 months for our favorite team to start playing again. All of us have been waiting. We have been patiently waiting. We've gotten up on the weekends and we said to ourselves, what the hell is there to do today? Oh, I have a wife. Oh, I have a girlfriend. Finally. Right? So I am not totally worried, but there were points there wasn't any point in yesterday's game where I felt really comfortable. I could tell you one thing before I pass it on to Simeon or JB. Having a proper goalkeeper exposes your outfield midfielders. I got stop there.
Christopher on the inside, good night to you, Christopher. Thanks for joining, man. We have 6 people on the inside watching, so guys, don't forget to like and share the podcast, right? We want to get more people in on the therapy session, the second for the season, and the season now starts.
Alright.
All right.
Mm.
Phil had mentioned something really interesting, and so just add that to your comments, right? Because he mentioned see how we start last season, right? Because I mean, the two, if you look at it from our results point of view, I mean, this season it not as bad, right? You think anyway?
Uh,
Go through.
nah. Let me say this. Let me say this. Like, Phil is right. I mean, like, even though the results, the points aren't as bad as last season, it's worse because it's year two. By now, Ten Hag should have had everything more or less figured out for the most part. He should have known, okay, what kind of guys he wants to bring in. He said before the season started that we are fit, how we ready to go. He saw in the first game what happened, and he went with the same team. But it what's bad about it is it's a pattern we're seeing. Like we have been terrible away from home, now we're bad at home, and like every year we keep. I feel like it's a problem not just with the team; it's the whole organization. Like we bring players in, we bring coaches in, and they'll be good for 1 year, and you see the dip in performance. Like all our players were good last year, you see a dip. Ten Hag, he might still be a good coach, but you hearing stuff that you see all he say. And you're like, why is Ten Hag saying that? Like, why he saying the same thing all he used to say? Like, why? And you just feel like you're stuck, like a United fan. You feel you're stuck in the same kind of, cycle. Like, you get a new coach, he's good, you see the right things, and then that Glazer thing that kind of seep down into the whole team. But you see, like, Bruno good for 1 year. Next year he dipped. We bring guys in every year. We bring guys in, and instead of performance get better, they get worse. Every single player we bring in, Casemiro, I mean, it go back. I mean, Anthony was not really good to begin with, but I mean, nah,
Brutal boy,
then
brutal
for us
boy.
to get then for us not getting away today. Then for us to get away today. Nah. Anthony, I don't know why. I don't know why he's here for that price. We as we as an organization, we just keep doing the same thing in cycles. So whatever it is that have us, on the same cycle over and over again, where we good for 1 year, next year we fall off with excuses to try to bring players in. We wait till we lose to bring players in. They play good. Safety season. We get excited next year, and then we do the same thing all over again. So whatever cycle it is, whatever the ownership, most likely, which starts the cycle, it ain't give me much hope because we never gonna catch up that way. We have players on our team like Rashford that I don't think he learned how to play the game yet. As good as he is, he doesn't know when to pass, when to shoot. Garnacho, young player, but same thing. They don't know when to pass, when to shoot. When they pass, they either bad pass or pass to the wrong person. When they shoot, too many times they ain't hitting the target. Like what we teach them, what they're learning, who train these guys, what we doing right. I just feel like we stuck in a cycle where nothing ain't getting better. So yeah, I mean it might be a bad start, but we same cycle. We ain't catching anybody or City or anybody soon. So go ahead. I just ranting here. I just ranting.
Yeah. Fair play, man. Fair play. Jody on the inside. Blessed night to you, man. Thanks for joining. Go through JP.
Yeah, I feel like Simeon was on my brain because he said a lot of things that I wanted to talk about. Um, I had a question on the mentality of the players that we have on this team because as much as Ten Hag doing what he could do, and I don't even know if it's the mentality or if it's the intelligence of the players because I think what we're not seeing is intelligent football because we can talk about the decision making and it's like everybody going for glory. Everybody like the playing too much on small goal when you beat a man and everybody ball and the whole head and like that's what they're trying to do on the pitch. Everybody want to you want to nutmeg this man here. You want to do a nice pass, Rabona, pass for men to head a ball and the ball and the whole head for that. But when it comes to making the right decisions, I saw an opportunity in the game. Rashford was free in the box. Garnacho run down the left. Garnacho wasting time trying to run down the wing, cut back, and Rashford is there fast, simple pass for him to tap in. So you could put in Rasmus Højlund, you could put Haaland, you could put Højlund, you could put who you want to strike in this team. They will suffer as a striker because the players making poor decisions. And a coach cannot be in your brain to make you make the right decisions. So to me, that is one of the major problems we have on this team. Because you can't tell me, and talk about the players, how the quality drop in when they come in. This is one of the things I was thinking about with Bruno. Bruno had one amazing season with us. And then it's like his glimpses when he getting good.
JP, don't start me on Bruno. I beg you, please. Don't start me on Bruno. Change the name to somebody else because I've been so calm. I've been so calm
Yeah,
right now. Don't start on Bruno, please.
because what I think, honestly, my opinion of Bruno, I had a talk about it. I honestly think Bruno is not our number 10. If Bruno Fernandes had to make it in this team, Bruno has to learn to play defender midfield. Bruno is not the number 10 that we need in this. And I know that people will agree with this, but looking at Man City play and how
Foden.
Phil Foden poorly
Oh
in that
gosh, I
role,
know you was going to say that. Listen, listen.
tell me which player I'm going to say should play there.
Proper, proper, proper,
Jadon
proper.
Sancho is our player who could fill that role. And people don't realize that. And that is why he was looking so good in the preseason as a false nine. When they give Sancho that freedom, you see the qualities come out in the player that Sancho is. And Sancho played in that role, I think will free up Sancho. Phil Foden as a young player, fitting in a Kevin De Bruyne role and was running Man City in a Newcastle. And Sancho is the player with that skill set. He's not a winger for my United. And then to the highest degree, now we're talking. I might tell us
I
something
yeah, I
faster again.
agree. I I think I see the Phil Foden and Jadon Sancho comparison. The only thing I give Phil Foden over Jadon Sancho is physicality, right? I don't think Jadon Sancho is that type of player to be physical with other players. But then again, you can call the likes of Meza Ozil back in the day and David Silva. Those guys weren't physical, but those guys knew they weren't physical as some of the opposition players. So IQ was high for those guys. If IQ is out of 100, their IQ is 110, 120, right? They
Yeah.
know. They know that they're not as physical as those guys. So one of two things got to happen with Jadon Sancho. You bulk up and play that number 10, or you increase your decision making to the point that opposition players are never going to rush you. Opposition players don't rush Phil Foden. They don't rush Kevin De Bruyne. They don't. But you know, if they rush Kevin De Bruyne, you either go get a 1-2, you go make space for him to pass. So,
Yes,
but
I have a little issue with the bulking up of players because I've noticed when probably how we at United as bulk players, right? Because it seem as though when we bulking players they just get shitty, right? But the thing about it, right, for me is the ability to know how to use your body. You could be small but still know how to use your body, right? Because you call some names there. You call Ozil, them fellas used to know how to ride a challenge. You understand? Keep yourself between the ball and the defender or the opposition and ride that challenge. That is something I think Jadon Sancho probably don't still had to work on or develop in his game. But I had to agree with JP. But then again, what does make a player in a team is not only the player, it is the players around him. Right? And if the players around Jadon Sancho don't allow him the opportunity to be that kind of creative player for us, then he gonna end up playing in that position and look like Messi now. And then we go say, well, no, this experiment take a work and we will go back to Bruno Fernandes. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, for Jadon Sancho to work as a number 10, or for whoever, anybody who we decide to play as a number 9, for those positions and those players to work, the players around them had to help them. You understand? So, and I just want to touch on one more thing Simeon had mentioned, and it's only as he talk about it's occurred to me. It's really a cycle. We will get one good season, get the fans on board, we get excited, and then we die. We Justin back and Jody and all made the point here. Let me just get the comment from Jody, right? He was saying here, from my point of view, is like we make one step forward and 2 steps back. And how long we've been saying this? It's years now. I remember our first season, we was like, these fellas could play football. And then what happened after? Right? And same thing last season, some of them fellas make we believe in them again. Only to come now. watching Luke Shaw, I say, I'm to hear. You understand? Anyway, let me get some comment before we continue, fellas. Alright, Christopher saying here, we haven't seen the full team as yet. The most needed component isn't part of the team as yet, the striker. I don't think so. I really don't think so. You understand? Because go ahead.
No, watch when Marsh. I know we laugh about Marshall, but Marshall knows how to play striker. Marshall come on the field and like he hold the ball up, he pass the ball, the man make a run, clear through ball. Everybody can see it. No ball was played, and they go back through that game. Like it's not like if we Ten Hag said Ten Hag keeps saying that we keep saying we need another midfielder. We do. But the main problem is the guys we have up front make bad decisions for the ball. And we don't score. They can't hold on to the ball when we attack it. That means counter-attacks going the other way. But we can't. Even with a good striker up there, we don't. Who's going to give him the ball? Garnacho? Is Garnacho going to keep pass the ball back, expect the back pass? Hardly ever. He's going to go to you. We all know what he's going to do.
I'm not gonna lie, boy, but I kind of regretting my stance on. I remember the transfer window, there was a poll put up on which striker you wanted, right? I kind of regretting not getting Harry Kane, boy. Nah, you guys laughing, but Harry Kane definitely is the type of striker that is mobile. So he's gonna drop as deep as he can for the football, even if he has to start plays. Boy.
As much as we hate Ronaldo, we need a striker in the middle of quality ball. We need a striker that will say, hey, I need that pass. I need that pass right here. And like right now, them fellas play with the head down. Like JP said, Rashford was right there for the pass. Garnacho see a real easy pass to the right and try to make a real hard pass across the box to Anthony. What kind of sense is that? Is those type of plays again and again in the first half you saw, and it's just I don't know. Like why you just wonder why can't Ten Hag pull them on the side, sit them down and watch video.
I guess sure. I like go to your comments, Reem. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. But I just want to add one thing to what Simeon said before I continue the comments, right? People looking at people were commenting on Rashford's body language, and yes, it wasn't encouraging, right? But if Rashford was getting the service that Rashford that's a number 9 in a team, would require, then I don't think his body language would have been like that. But you're making runs, you're finding yourself in good positions, you're asking for the ball, and you're not getting it, it will affect any player. Right now, I remember plenty podcasts we do and plenty games in the past where Anthony Marcel was playing in the center and people, complaining about, his body language, complaining about, he not involved in the game. And I used to keep saying, earlier, we don't play for number 9. We have too much selfish wingers. Right? Now, Marcus Rashford don't want to play in the centre forward position. You could see it because he realized the involvement in the game, his impact in the game. He can't make no kind of impact. So he feel like he being wasted there. Right? So I saw Rashford saying, hey, whoever they Hoyland, Marcelo, look, come back quick enough. Because I can't handle this nonsense. Because it's affecting me. I'm working hard. And I ain't getting nothing.
And Rashford like to have the ball, because he said that on the interview he had with Gary Neville on the overlap. Rashford said he don't have the patience to play as a centre forward because he likes to have the ball. That talks to me about the type of player he is. Rashford needs to feel the ball to be in the game. So it will be even harder for him to do something when he get the ball because he not getting the ball as he like it.
Yeah, but JP, you know in the Wolves game, you know when Rashford touched the ball after 15 minutes.
Exactly. We not getting the ball to him.
I can show you. I can show you how indecisive this team is. Right. My dad is here with me, and we watching the same Spurs versus United game. And he's shouting at TV more than me. He's like, pass the ball there, pass the ball there, keep it simple. And he don't follow football. He's play golf. He don't follow football. He's saying pass the ball to the man in the red, pass the ball to the man in the red. And anyway.
Imagine, right? I went today to watch my nephew play. They were playing a final, South Zone final, right? And the way how, and I think that they eventually lost the game 3-1, right? But when I went to watch the game, the way how they were playing, and we're talking about Trinidad level grassroots football. Now, it's a no big sort of investment in that, so you know what kind of quality you're getting, right? And the exact same way they were playing, I was seeing shades of Man United there, no kind of common sense in your passing decisions. You're just looking to launch the ball for some fella who you think is the quickest in your team up top to run on. And I there and I was the coach here and I vex. Here now. Which one? Man United are easy now. Let me get the comments, guys. Alright, so where was I? Yeah, so Christopher saying here, I expect the signing of a centre mid as well because it's clear Mount is not midfielder. Amrabat incoming according to Fabrizio. Right, but I still think we need Amrabat and an 8, right? Because I've always been saying Amrabat's supposed to be Casemiro backup, right? I don't disagree that some games they'll be paired together, but based on the progressive kind of football, we need a creative player, a ball carrier. And I watching Amrabat, or they could tell me differently, but Amrabat looked like a deep line distributor. I don't see him as a progressor, somebody to travel with the ball. That's just me, right? Jody on the inside, he's saying, I don't know why the comments taking so long to come up on my side. Alright, he's saying, how can you talk about a striker when the midfield can't even get it right? There you go. Alright. From my right, we got that one already. Spoken about, right, so he's saying, so we got that comment, Christopher. Alright, Jody's saying here, clearly the players need some sort of counseling. Their mind all over the place when coming to football. Right? Christopher saying here, Garnacho isn't a starter, Rashford isn't a centre forward. Don't know what Anthony is. He doesn't cross, he can't score, and doesn't beat his man. Right? Wakanda Forever on the inside, thanks for joining. Everybody wants to be the heroes on this team, but until the Glazers leave, we will never get back to the glory days. Trying to see the correlation there.
Yeah,
I get your point.
I was trying to figure out what the last comment meant with the first comment though. There's no
Yeah,
easy correlation, but yeah.
yeah. I'm doing Francis on the inside. Good night, man. Thanks for joining, buddy. All right, what kind of saying here? And Eric Ten Hag is giving me all the vibes right now. Yeah, boy. I find so, JP.
Not yet, not yet, not yet. You see, the man trusts his players, you know. But look, you know what she 11 he puts out there, and that's why I'm saying it's them players. Watch that 11 he put out. That's a good team. That is a proper team. You have Mount and Casemiro in the midfield. You have Bruno Fernandes ahead of them. Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony. You have Varane and Martinez in our back line. Shaw as your left back, Onana your keeper. Your right back is going to be sacked up. Why we
But
struggle against Wolves and why we couldn't beat Spurs? It's Spurs we talking about. You get a free
And
header,
Spurs.
any box Bruno Fernandes and you can't pull a free header. Dino Ten Hag, that the players. There's the players.
And man, both they're freaking out about Bruno Fernandes Rabona to Rashford. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's the level that we've come to. We're freaking out about a Rabona.
I'm not
Man,
saying.
piss in my pocket.
Yeah, when you get a free header, any box you don't know what to do with the Rabona. Rabona pass the ball simple.
Yeah, yeah. Um, doing saying here, why did Sancho play false nine all someone being used out wide now? Yeah, not being used there now. But I go on Ten Hag now. He also saying here, I'm pissed off yet over venting because Ten Hag have to take some weather right now. Right? I think yeah, Ten Hag have to take some responsibility. And we will get to team sheets, guys, right? So saying here, I feel so numb to this team right now. It's like my expectations is exactly how the team performing at the moment. Wow. Alright, doing saying here, ball retention, piss poor. Yeah. Andy Ramnarine on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying good night, guys, Trinidad inside. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, Jody saying here, why blame Ten Hag when these same players was playing so well in the second half last season? Year in, year out, I keep saying these players have to take the blame. Alright,
I mean,
we don't, go ahead.
no, I mean, if my issue with Ten Hag is, the players we had. You bring in Anthony. My first strike one, Anthony. Strike two, Mount. And then you ain't fixed nothing since preseason. We had the same issues since preseason. All them games, and you ain't fixed nothing. And then you start the same players for this game. You see Sancho look better, but you leave Sancho out. Sancho was supposed to be right-sided attacker. I know he defend better than the rest, but still, the man ain't doing nothing up front. You can't like you say if your team play mess and you start the same team next game, it's gonna be some issues. There's some questions being asked, and that's what you're getting now. I mean, I hate the man. I say the man can't coach, but I say the man has to take some responsibility as to what he's doing in his team.
Yeah. King on a really put on the inside. Thanks for joining me. He said to me if we'd score our chances from early, the football game would have been easier. We've been singing that since last season, no? Since last season.
Yeah.
But as Simeon bring it up, team sheets guys, are those expecting any changes from Wolves? What are they do differently? Are they disappointed? Are they saying, well, whatever?
It would have been a bit. It would have been a bit reactionary should we have immediately changed after the first game because you kind of wanna see what the players can do together within the first 2 to 3 games, right? So I really didn't expect any changes. I know I'm jumping forward a bit, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure who our next game is against, man. So
Forest at Old Trafford.
for us at Old Trafford, I would make one change, and that's to not start Anthony. Actually, not making 2 changes. Not start Anthony. Not start Garnacho. So Rashford on the left. Actually, when we get close to the end of the show, I'll reveal who I'll start. So
Yeah. JP, where's thoughts on the starting lineup?
Honestly, I thought Garnacho was poor against Wolves, and I think he is still an impact player off the bench. And I think if the intention is for Ireland to come in and be the number 9, should be playing more or less in a setup for that for now. And if Rashford is going to be the player starting on the left, he should be playing there from Sancho did well in the first 9 for the preseason, so I was kind of hoping that we see him there for that game against Tottenham. But I feel like he did enough, and we are seeing glimpses of Sancho that we wanted to see, and I think we could have built on that confidence and give him something to start the season. So after the first game it didn't work, I was hoping to see Rashford back on the left and Sancho playing in the first line position. If it wasn't working out, then I feel like we could have tweaked it and maybe changed it after that. I think that Sancho was poor, especially in the Wolves game, and could not take a bench for this game.
Yeah, but I mean, I tend to lean on the point that Phil was making. And as I was telling other fellas even before, Ten Hag has never shown to be reactionary like that.
Yeah.
You know? And truth be told, bar the decision making, which is a big thing, I thought we were much better at the start of this game against Spurs than what we saw from the midfield and attack against Wolves. You understand? So I thought for the first half, because I mean I think I tell earlier, you know, I mean Ten Hag would have felt a little bit vindicated, you know, in terms of his team selection at halftime, because the fellas the point about half an hour, you know, that would have said, well, wait now, these fellas, you know, all right, so they're getting over the little rust that we saw, you know, against Wolves. But then second half happened and well, right? But I never expected Ten Hag to make changes, because he's always saying, hey, right, you're wrong, right? Go out there and prove to me that I'll better than that game I'll play before, right?
And he did fix it. He fixed it because you saw
Mount.
starting position was a lot deeper.
Yeah.
And then he was making later runs ever so often.
Correct.
So he did fix it. But then as a player, it's not doing what he's supposed to do.
Correct. And as Simeon said, decision making in the final third. You know, and I think that's what killed, because the amount of space I was surprised Spurs give it that amount of space. The amount of time Garnacho had that ball there, and anyway, I don't think now, going into the third game, we'll see the same 11. That's when I could be surprised. If Forest I see the same 11, then I could be like, Ten Hag, unless them, I don't know. You know? Let me just get some of the comments here. Jody saying here, Rashford, them learn nothing from watching and playing with Harry Kane. He needs to start dropping in for the ball. Alright. Yeah. Rashford is a running behind player. Yeah. Because even when yesterday when Rashford dropped for the ball, yes, how easy it was picking it off him by Jody, boy. Easy. Rashford have no hold up play. You don't have no hold up play. Then in a pass a game. And they saying here it's the players to blame. To be Ten Hag gotta hold some smoke too, bro. Alright. Nigel on the inside, thanks for joining. He's saying, I feel this team is suffering from that long season last. Yeah, alright, and that is how far off we are, because we ought to be looking and growing
and going the distance.
I'm going the distance. Oh, well, let's think about this comment here. He's saying he feel that, you know, the length of the season that we had last season, it affecting some of the players.
Why we the only team being affected, and not other teams? Why? Talk to me.
No, well, I mean, if just trying to defend the point he's making here, we were one of the only teams. I think the only team who play more games than us was City. Right, and we know City have more depth, and Pep would have rotated his squad more, whereas Ten Hag didn't have much players to rotate. Right, so.
Well, that's where transfer window comes in. Transfer window is to assess the season before and make improvements. And I kid you not, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to make a couple of panic buys. So,
Oh, we better make some good panic buys. You
yeah, not
understand?
not 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 no White Horse and Falco and their
Yeah,
foolishness.
no. We ain't going through that. All right. Um, Eric Lewis on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying Bruno, diabolical performance yesterday. Not the type of number 10 we need. I think somebody in the panel said that, right? He is not technical, right? His stats are always going to be high regarding chance creation, but he cannot control the tempo of a game. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think I
That's
could
that's
disagree with you.
that's the guys who want. That's the guys. Oh, sorry. That's the captain you guys want.
I know for captain ability and ability, I identify why I think it was a good choice. But in this instance, I agree with the point here.
Well,
Um,
let me ask you a question. You think Bruno is the type of guy we can rely on when we're a goal now?
why not? He have moments, He have moments, right? I'm not gonna take away, you know, what Bruno could do. He's a moments player,
So
right? But to
you
say, but to
rather
say,
you rather moments or consistency?
no, I want consistency. But what I'm saying, if you want to build,
Back to the comments, Reem. Back to the comments now.
no, I could defend my point,
Oh God.
I could defend my point,
Oh God.
right? Just don't build your football around Bruno Fernandes. That is all. He could be a captain, but not the center of your style of play. That is all I'm saying. But I hear you, loud and clear. Richard on the inside, thanks for joining, man. Good night to you. All right. He's saying Big Phil boy. All
Boy,
right.
Richard boy. Oh boy. Good night to you as well, my brother.
Yeah. Eric Lewis saying here agreed. What's the point playing Sancho up front during preseason and not now? Boy. We're just saying here if we played football, it would have been easier. All right.
Well said, Richard.
Jody saying I was expecting Sancho to replace Garnacho with Rashford on the left. Yeah, everybody was expecting that when Sancho came on, Garnacho would go. Sancho would go in the center and Rashford would go left, but Ten Hag keep. That was saying Ten Hag had some smoke too, eh? Ten Hag shaky right now, boy. Right? Doing saying here I could be wrong, but I'm seeing a South American thing with Anthony and Garnacho, leaving Rashford isolated. I could be wrong. Rashford, that is something common with how we just play. The number 9, there's always be orphan. If they don't like the player, they go say he lazy, he doing anyway. Let me go straight. Right? Wakanda Forever saying here the Glazers, the reason we have these players because there is no structure at the club. How do we expect to challenge with Mount? And we can't get ready for
Disagree. Disagree.
oh, we can't
Because
get rid of them. Okay. Go
disagree.
ahead, Phil.
Ten Hag wanted Mount, so that has nothing to do with the Glazers. Actually, that has to do with the Glazers because Glazers gave me money to Ten Hag to get Mount. Ten Hag wanted Mount. Ten Hag has been watching Mount since Mount was playing at Vitesse Arnhem in the Eredivisie, right? So Ten Hag wanted Mount. So Ten Hag has gotten Mount. So Ten Hag has to hold some pressure going forward this season, right? Because he's being given the players that he wants, right? So
Yeah.
But the problem, the simple type of with the Glazers, I would say would be to first to do proper business otherwise, because looking at what Chelsea do, and I was listening to somebody talk as to why Chelsea are allowed to do what they're doing without really breaking the FFP. Because Chelsea selling off players and then the players are buying it with them on long contracts. So Chelsea books not looking too bad. But in our case, we can't get rid of some of the players like Harry Maguire. It's hard to get rid of him. So we can't bring in the talent that we need to bring in unless we offload some of the players out there. Yes, we get some out, but there's only so much we could bring in because of how our books look at. So unless we can get rid of Maguire or McTominay, we can remain under pressure. And if the Glazers there and the club will have the structure that they need to have in place in order to make things happen, then we will remain in situations like this, where players just, their contract. Look at the price we get for some of the players too, like Fred, how much we sell Fred for. You tell me Fred is not even like with at 25 million. Caicedo sell for 115 million. after one season, and we have Fred and couldn't get 20 million. We had to be a stronger club and not just give away because somebody wants to get a player. So that is part of the problem too. So I could understand where Wakanda comes from, the Glazers part of it from that aspect.
Not the best comparison with Tyson or Fred, but I get what you're saying though. Yeah, I get what you're
You
saying.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Jody saying here, Reem, there's a difference between depth and quality. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
at the point, so Ten Hag was forced to have to play 11 players, 12 to 13 for the most, right? So obviously, if that's the case, then chances are it might lend over to the season, and that's why them fellas and them struggling. Could be, all right? Because remember, even some of them and all after the league, they went and played with internationals, eh? So, Riyad on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying Anthony needs to get dropped and bring in Facundo, all right? He also saying here that Mount in we have to deal with make the balance completely off. Hey, you know, ah, um, doing saying here exactly, Phil. That's why we have to hold some L, right? Jody saying here Ten Hag need to break whatever Chelsea did to Mount. Yeah, boy. But again, 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 just for the little 30 minutes that we was on top in the first half, seeing Mount play a little bit deeper. I don't think. I think there's a possibility something could work. It mightn't be ideal, but something could work.
I mean,
You know?
Eric Ten Hag believed it could work. I mean, he ain't wrong. He wrong, but he ain't that wrong. I mean, we need another. We need another midfielder besides Mount back there. But if we score the goals we're supposed to score, if we hold on to the ball, keep possession, the wingers don't make dumb passes and dumb tricks and stuff. We could have possession, and we won't need to have Mount and Bruno scampering back. It's a us to score a goal that but that will work against most of the smaller teams. When you play City, you play Arsenal, and you play Newcastle, you might have to defend, and that's where you're gonna need that other, defensive, solid midfielder. So, I mean, I don't know how long we got to wait for it to work before we make some changes.
So I mean, Mount flourished in a Chelsea system that had N'Golo Kante and Kovacic, both both defensive minded players, but both players knew how to advance the football. They're not they don't do nothing spectacular. They don't do anything out of the blue. They may spray passes left and right, but that's nothing compared to like splitting the defense. Right? They did the basic, gave it off to Mount. Mount did his thing. Right? My and I know a couple of people in the comments were saying Bruno should drop deeper. Right? But I gotta propose a scenario to you guys in the comments as well. When we were down one love yesterday against Spurs, Bruno dropped deeper. You know what Bruno did? Always passing the ball up, playing direct football. Bruno was never looking to build any plays. Bruno would just get the ball and try to ping the ball over the top. He did it at least a good 10 or 15 times when we were down one love and down two love, right? Maybe, maybe. And there was somebody in the comment that said that Bruno is not the number 10 we need. That could be right. But as of now, Bruno's on a 5-year contract, so we have to play with him. Maybe, I don't know. Hear me out. We play Mount deep. We play Bruno ahead to stop Bruno from spraying all of these passes when we are in need of a goal. Because there are times last season where it was just nil nil, and we were in need of a goal, and Bruno always looked to collect the ball from Casemiro or Martinez or Varane, and he's looking to spray the ball up top, hoping that it finds somebody in red. So that's just a scenario that I put out there.
Yeah.
Don't crucify me. That's just what I'm thinking, right? So
I think Bruno
Uh,
have a
Yeah.
tendency to want to be the hero when the team down. And I think it's part of the passion that he's playing the game with that when he off and he trying to do something, he trying to force something to happen to make the team like get a goal. It's like it's just highlight how bad of a game he having because he'll be trying to do too much. I think it's at times like that is when the mentality had to come into play where you had to simplify the game. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
He's been looking for the Hollywood passes. And to the point with Mount though, remember you said earlier when I talk about Sancho, if we try the Sancho experiment in number 10, but the players around him still not looking good, then we will say it's not working. That could be what we're going with Mount right now too. Mount on
Yeah.
a team that not playing good. So that's why I'm not going to come down on Mount as yet because it's not like a big team around Mount looking real good and Mount having bad games. The team not playing good.
I I know I'm ahead, but for the next game, I kind of want to see Martial and Sancho start.
But really,
Nah, but I mean, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst? Martial and Sancho start against Forest. Maybe Falcao Palestri can get a running as well. Who knows? What's the worst that can happen? Should we draw with Forest? Then you kind of gotta get worried though. It's Forest. Come on,
yeah,
At Old Trafford too, eh? Yeah.
that's really
boy. I have no fit. Anyway,
But my thing is this, right? I talking, and I know it not gonna happen, all right? But you see, what we noticed, yesterday with the game when we were down, and instead of trying to be constructive in how we play the football, you had Bruno wasting passes, shooting carelessly. I wonder if when we're in those kind of situations, Ten Hag will consider taking Bruno off because of
for
that.
the
Because
tournament.
he wouldn't. But no, but what I'm saying is it could be something that I mean, I know Bruno is the type of player you may want on the pitch because he'll get that kind of intensity, he had the mentality, but certain aspects of the game it is take away from a team not looking to get a goal now, but you know?
not gonna lie. I've seen we've seen Ten Hag drop Cristiano Ronaldo. Bruno's nobody. I'm sorry, drop Bruno.
He ain't
That's
dropping
just my
Bruno.
take.
He ain't
But
dropping
I'm
Bruno.
just saying, if Ten Hag drops Bruno, I will not be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
I know Simeon wanted to make a point.
Well, two things. Bruno, I mean, the fact that he was complaining about a penalty, I mean, yeah, it could have been a penalty, but like when you play so much crap in that game, I
Yeah,
want to
I
hear,
don't know your
want,
voice.
I want to hear you want an apology. I want to hear your apology. I want to hear you say, you know what, we were
Simeon, I don't even mind
terrible.
hear your apology, but I don't know what I say,
Yeah,
but
I want to say, it's like he's like, oh, like who is gonna feel? We are Manchester United. You see that crest back there? Like nobody's gonna feel sorry for us. You
correct.
as captain, Bruno, should know nobody's gonna feel sorry for Manchester United. You just got a penalty, one of Onana thing last week. Nobody didn't care about us. The referee gonna come on, dressing room and say, "Oh, my bad, I should have called." No, nobody likes us. You're United. We're supposed to be one of the biggest clubs in the world. You have nobody on your side, Bruno. When you as captain come and say that kind of nonsense, I get worried. Like, where's your mentality? What are you? Why are you talking about the referee? Worry about yourself. Worry about your team. Worry about you can't score a goal from you know from no nothing. I mean, you're right in front of the goal. You can't score a goal. Worry about yourself. Worry about your team. And
Boy,
one more thing,
Simeon, you getting canceled for talking bad about Bruno, boy.
boy.
You're getting canceled, Simeon. I'm already canceled, so you could join me as well too. So
Nah, Bruno. Bruno. I used to like Bruno, but now his character really have me, just touch my beard now because he ain't have the right kind of mentality to lead, to lead men. You know, this club needs a Roy, not really a Roy Keane character, but like a character. that ain't worried about nobody else, ain't worried about the referee, ain't worried about the next team, just worried about winning. And he worried about everything else. It's always the referee, it's always some nonsense with him. And one more point, can go back to the basic like I know Kareem was telling me that Menu he didn't want Menu to play no big part this season.
Wrong.
He didn't want Menu to have no important like depend be a big player that we depend on this season. When you hear Eric Ten Hag talking about Menu's coming back, in so many weeks or whatever thing, I mean how it makes me wonder like is he gonna bring somebody else in or are we waiting for Menu? And that's what I'm kind of worrying about now, is because we all saw how good Manning was in preseason. Is the club going to say, you know what, we ain't going to bring in more players, it's going to wait for him? That's my worry now. So what do you think about that, Kareem?
Yeah, so my thing on this, right? I'm all gonna know I really like Menu, right? Menu had a touch of class and the man is only what 17 or 18. But my issue is when we pushing young players too early, right? It can affect proper natural development, right? I'm not saying he can't handle it, but don't go and throw an 18, 17, 18-year-old into a team that not properly functional. We will destroy the player, right? You want to fit Menu into a team that going proper so you could give him. I want to see this season Menu get minutes. I don't want to see us depend on Menu, right? And the next thing to that too, I don't know if all you notice, but Menu look like he have a little bit of injury proneness, and when he out, he's been out for a while, because last season he get injured, and Menu was out until the beginning of pre-season, that's when he came back. So that player ain't properly developed yet for that kind of jamming. I ain't saying the man can't handle the level, but Menu is not supposed to be the man we come in and we say, well, oi, there's the fella here. Bam. Menu playing 60 games. I see. No, we can't do that. That's too much pressure for an 18-year-old. And then we go ask, and then watch me, the same people who calling for Menu to come and go with the same ones who go criticize him when he at the levels. Let the man develop properly now, man. Play Menu. If every other game you're bringing one for 15, 20 minutes, all right, I don't mind the odd game he got start and he play alongside, the seniors. But for you to tell me we can't wait for Menu to come back so that he could be the man to change we fortunes in midfield, that is utter madness as far as I am concerned.
I see where you're going, Reem. I agree with you. And Bukayo Saka, Erling Haaland, those are the two names that come to mind that Dortmund and Arsenal took a chance on, and they were teenagers. And lo and behold, right? But don't get me wrong, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm more for you in terms of your statement. I'm for Menu slowly but surely being integrated into the team. Bring him on for 15 minutes, bring him on for the first 60 minutes of a FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Those sort of things I'm down for Menu in, right? But sometimes you gotta take a risk. Sometimes you gotta take a risk. And it pays off sometimes and it doesn't pay off. Right? But yeah. Anyway, I still want two midfielders before September comes. That's all.
Me too. We just get some comments, guys, because I want to move on. I have two more things to talk about, right? Jody saying if we continue, so I fear for the worst for that Arsenal game at the Emirates. Right? Nigel saying here we can't buy our away game for nothing, by. Right? I just hope that we go deal with our away form this season, right? Jody saying here maybe for this concerning one.
When I mentioned starting Sancho and Martial.
Oh, yeah. All right. Dwayne saying here Scott McTominay would have been a good choice yesterday. Sometimes there's no way to get with a man on them, but there's no way.
There's an interesting comment coming up for you, Reem, and I'll address it when you say it with regards to Menu as well too. So
all right, no problems. Eric saying here, yes, play Marcel. We need him to impress the Saudis will pay more. You trust this club to get a number 9, buddy? All right, be careful what you wish for. Doing saying here, Bruno make it sound like we depended on penalty to win. As soon as we went one down, Bruno's shoulders dropped. Then you missed the whole goal, so stop complaining. All right. Jolly saying here, Simeon, you know, scratching your beard, boy, about Bruno. When for the past couple of years, he was moaning. Doing saying here, we took a risk with Greenwood. Why not Meno?
And this is the comment here, which he is not wrong. He's not wrong. We did take a risk on Greenwood, and it did pay off. It did. Obviously.
You wanna know is my rebut to this?
I'm quite curious. What's the rebuttal?
Right. It affected Greenwood up here, where he thought he was better than he was. Right? If you look at Greenwood game in the back end of his when he was playing with us, you had a Rashford upset with Greenwood. You had a Ronaldo talking about Greenwood attitude. You understand? So it even though it may not affect a player in this way, it does affect him in the next way, and sometimes it's not healthy for the team because you had Ronaldo, even though Ronaldo's second stint wasn't something that I go boast about, you still can't take certain things that the players take for granted because we all agree when Ronaldo started exposed the Glazers and the state that they had the club in. Let me listen to certain things that he was saying as well about players around him. That he said when he was there before, players want to learn, but now younger players feel they reach. They're not listening to nobody. And that was part of the issue. He could have swell up Greenwood head. The best finisher at the club.
I mean, they weren't wrong, but I mean, it's all about how you take positive news, right? It can either swell up your head or it can be humble, right?
All right, so check and let me add to this, right? I know JP or Simeon might want to jump in after, but let me add to this. Look at Foden. Look at how good Foden is, right? Look at how Pep dealing with Foden. Last season, Foden hardly played. Season before that, Foden used to take a bite-sized minutes, right? You feel if Foden was at Man United, he might have had the number 10. They might have a statue of Foden already. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we just do.
Yeah. Well, score a hat trick one game and then score on the bench the next game. They all Pep playing them first.
So I'm not against using players and utilizing them, but you see when we become dependent on them and use the savior now at those tender ages where they're very, very impressionable up here, and even in the physical development and thing, I say bite size. That's just me. I could be wrong.
And I think our recent history with that too. A lot of the young players that we had coming up, it happened to a lot of them. And as one of the former assistant coaches, I can't remember which one it was, he said that with Adnan Januzaj and this youth striker Wilson. I think was his name. He said that about them.
Yeah.
They reach any senior team and they stop trainers hard because they feel like they reach. And you saw it with Greenwood coming down, as you say, in that the latter part there, where you started to see how greedy he was playing and opportunities to pass. He was trying to score because he's the best finisher at the club. So you could really spoil that player if you put too much on him. I remember as Man United they played first, that spotlight on you. You could do it at a Dortmund. You could do it at Arsenal because Arsenal, everybody accepted the position that Arsenal was in at the time when Saka was getting his chance. So Man United is 20 times, 13 Premier League titles in the modern era Premier League. This is the biggest club in England we're talking about. So the spotlight totally different when it comes to a young player coming up at Man United. So you really need a manager who could integrate them into a team and not put it on the 17-year-old savior for the midfield. I don't want that for me.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what look at 4 strikers for 4 forwards. You have Greenwood, Rashford, and who else? Garnacho and Sancho. If I'm a striker, I want Sancho on the wing. You know why? Because Sancho's the only one not to pass the ball to me when I'm a good position because Rashford is going to try down the side, try and score for a tight angle. Canacho trying to be the same way. Greenwood, I mean, that man put it shoot with both feet, so you know he's going to try and score. So, like, most of our forwards rely so much on their ability as far as, speed and dribbling to score from a tight angle rather than using, football sense to find a better play, to score a goal. Like, whatever we do here, and Sancho is from Kiki trade from Dortmund, right? Dortmund, he didn't really train, he didn't really play a young age here. He started his trade in Germany and then came here. And you see a difference in the way he plays compared to the guys who we brought up through our academy. So
Yeah, yeah. And one other thing too, um, shucks, I think that point escaped me. I was gonna make. Oh, what I like what Ten Hag do with Garnacho is everybody was crying for Garnacho to get in number 7. Ten Hag saying no, right? And then even last season, people was calling for Garnacho, but people was Ten Hag was gradually playing Garnacho. He'll get minutes here, he'll get minutes there. And I even though Garnacho started these first 2 games, I don't think Garnacho plays sure because soon as that number 9 come in, Rashford going left and Garnacho could be the impact player that. So that's what I'm saying. So I like how Ten Hag treating with the young players, and I really hope that there's no extremely heavy dependence on Mane when he come in. So yeah, let me get your study comments. Dwayne saying here, now I don't agree in the back end something was brewing with Greenwood. And boom, look what happened. Alright. Alright. Foden have an attitude problem, bro. That's known facts. Alright. Christian saying here, let's see that goal Antonio score on Chelsea today. Man, like he was playing FIFA, press L1 and R1 and circle control, shield off 2 men, turn and run a pipe and bullets. that was a good goal. That was a good goal he scored. See the highlights. Doing saying here, every time we have the Rashford, Martial, Sancho front three, it's been productive. Yeah, I mean, I wonder why Ten Hag never gave that a proper shot, boy. I guess it's because
defense.
yeah, number 9 was always injured. And
Well, defense though.
so, fellas, I mean, let me see how quick we could run through these 2 points, right? Now, we had. I know we criticized Bruno for calling it, but I still want to talk about it, right? We had 2 penalty shots yesterday. The handball, right? Romero hand, right? I don't understand how VAR looked at it and didn't give it. I don't know if it had a change in the rule. Probably I might have to learn back all these rules in game, right? Because Romero hand, it wasn't a natural position, and the contact that the ball made with his hand changed the direction of the ball. So how that wasn't a penalty, right? 2, fellas. No, I didn't hear people make a big issue of it. But that foul on Palestri wasn't a penalty, right? How that wasn't a penalty? I don't understand. I don't understand, right? Any thoughts as to why we didn't get the first call? I mean, the obvious.
I think I evidence, man. I it. I listened to the commentators after when on the halftime and both of them saying it was close to the man and the ball was coming at a speed. But Romero hand was in the air. His hand was
Romero hand was out like this.
Yeah, how his hands where else his hands could be in that position. What do you mean? That's like I was real confused. When I see the first replay, I was like, yeah, short penalty, we going up on there. I was convinced. But then as I tell you, if you look at when they show the VAR replay, They never watch the first angle that they showed in the first replay. They keep twisting to the side and doing all kind of different angle that did not show clearly that Romero hand was here. They never showed that replay for the actual ball that they were using. So there's a clear agenda. To be an agenda.
And you know what was even more weird about it? Last week, I don't know how much of you saw it when Brighton play Luton Town. Is Luton Town to play? I can't remember who Brighton play, but Brighton got a penalty because it's Dunk, and Dunk hand was behind him, and the
Behind
ball
them.
passed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
touched he hand, and they got a penalty.
They got penalty,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't understand what it is going on. That because Nick one all asking me about penalty call today, and I tell him I still I don't know what is our penalty again, and I had to sit down and go through and learn this thing over again, and because it's not making sense, the consistency in the mud.
It's how the referee feel. Clearly, it's how the referee feel on the game.
Boy, I don't know. But again, I guess as Simeon pointed, is Man United, so everybody wants to take a dig at we, and then even considering, the fact that we got a gift last week, they wanted to make sure that they make amends,
We
the
had a penalty call in that game so that we can get.
the hands,
We
and
had no again in the box that we can get. So I don't know what's the big uproar about because to me it just cancel out. That's how I look at
and
it.
them talk about that on a challenge this all this weekend,
What?
right? And I don't know if anybody noticed the Liverpool game. How was the boy named Szoboszlai, whoever his name is? Or let's say that piece of dive and a man got penalty. Va even
Yeah.
wherever. We move. Right? That done. Alright, let me see. So the referee association all get all your so it cancel out, right? So we could be good going forward now. Right? Now, final thing that we want to talk about, guys, right? They after the Manchester United continuing to prove how well run we are, and if you're listening to this without watching, I am being sarcastic. All right. When you consider, our recruitment, when you consider transfers, but more so, this Mason Greenwood matter, right? Because we now getting a chance to talk about it. Right now, Manchester United had how you call it, the comunicado oficial, right, on the Mason Greenwood situation. Right, and I just want to read a little part of I just want to pull an excerpt from it, right? And they were saying, following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood in February 2023, Manchester United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegations made against him. This has drawn an extensive evidence. This has drawn on extensive evidence and context, not in the public domain, right? And we have heard from numerous people with direct involvement or knowledge in the case. And it went on to say, this has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Manchester United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public domain. We ask for your patience as we work through the final stages of this carefully considered process. What do you make of Manchester United statements on this matter?
Just sounds so political. They made a decision to announce that they have not made a decision. That's what it is, Ring. Don't read too much into it. They made an announcement to tell the fans, the stakeholders, and whoever that they have not made a decision. What sort of backward thinking is that?
I think they kind of throw stuff in there to kind of lead you a particular way. I think the decision was probably made already. I see it. And that's why I kind of pull up those two comments, because it was saying stuff. It was telling you something indirectly. But go through.
I want to read in between the lines in those comments there to make it known that we only know a little bit. The public only have a little bit of information. We know a lot more. And based on what we know, we will make a decision on that. Which, as you said, the public already make a decision. Why they probably put out that statement too could be to see the reaction of the fan base and all the different, to have all these different groups out there representing the Me Too movement and different things like that. So it's very possible that they just put it out there to see, to get like a feel of how the fan base and the general public will feel about this season. And to know that, well, all right, if we really say we bring them back, we could feel comfortable enough that it will not have too much of a backlash, or, all right, you know what, the public not really accepting this, I feel we have to move on from this. I think that's why they actually do it. Because the court of public opinion is really the one that you have to be considered right
Yeah, I think with that little snippet of information, they're trying to say, oh yeah, we went further deeper into the story, and really it's not a big deal. Greenwood isn't as bad as they say he was. We talked to everyone involved, and it's all good now. So we just want to let you guys know that we know more than you guys do. So we got to the bottom of it. So put a little thing in there, but that's so weak. Like if you're gonna bring, it's just weak. It just shows how weak this club is. I mean, if you're gonna bring him back, same time you see that, same time you announce him back. Say, after looking at all the evidence and talking to all the people involved, we're gonna bring him back in a story. Or say, you know what, after looking at this, we're not gonna bring him back. Don't dilly dally, take all this time to make. I mean, this shows how weak this club is. Make a decision. Bring him back or don't. Don't have this drama out. Where you try to hear what everybody else saying. Like it just sounds so weak and just weak, just weak.
Yeah, yeah, and following the statement from the club, right? We had some reporters saying, because I think the statement was on the 16th of August from the club, right? And then that same day, I had um, media outlets who, we suspect go get brief from the club, right? And go get a little information. They were saying that Mason Greenwood is expected to be reinstated into the squad as early as next week, which is this upcoming week. But then this whole thing, guys, from reports, it took a kind of twist, right? And as JP was kind of, noting, they were really testing the waters of the different stakeholders, external, that is, public opinion and that kind of thing. And I mean, based on, what I was reading, and I mean, I don't want to base, and I hope they're not basing their decision on Twitter, because Twitter is a very, very small, group of keyboard warriors, right? But from the reports we've seen, the senior Mason Greenwood is set to be dumped out of the Manchester United squad following a U-turn over the backlash from fans, because they would have had fans protesting against this. Here now, I Chad, I don't know,
Weak,
and we
weak,
have a,
weak, weak.
yeah, and the same here, an update on Mason Greenwood is expected as early as tomorrow. All right, and this is from David Ornstein. I think he's what Phil. He's what tier one.
Yeah, he is probably on the same level, if not a little bit higher than Fabrizio Romano.
All right.
So
So
yeah,
so we know this information here is but he's very, very clever in his wording, right? He says expected. So if it's a come tomorrow, you can tell him, well, let you say it.
now.
But 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 let's hope that we could finally get closure on this. All
Yeah,
right. Go
but
ahead.
I mean, if they're planning to bring it back, the dumbest thing they could have done was that, because I've heard more commentary towards if Greenwood comes back, it's gonna be, it's gonna look bad. Since they're gonna do it. Like don't, like if if what you say is true and you believe he should be back, and then the whole, everybody, how you gonna look? Like, what kind of, who are the people running the organization to where it can be swayed left to right based on, public, like, and we all know who runs United, Manchester United. It's not like anybody with no real, balls or anything. It's all based on, commercial and, making money. But like, it just looks weak to where everyone kind of knows what you're gonna do, and then because you get pushback, you're gonna change your mind, in 2 seconds. But that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. But we all, I don't want to put nobody in any kind of position because I know it's a real sensitive topic, eh? And people getting slandered for having an opinion, But one thing that was kind of telling for me was because I just say it, I just say it. I mean, sometimes I remember somebody had reposted the video, the audio clip, sorry, and it kind of gets him a little bit, And we know the history of Mason. He's a little, because he had little issues even before, and the club tried to cover it up before as well, right? But then some other information came. I don't want to call the person who gave me the information, but you know who you are, right? They were saying that it could be a possible, kind of spite thing because of, some little issues within the relationship. All right. So, and this is where the club's saying, well, we have more information than earlier, right? All of you would have heard was this. But, we were able to talk to more people who directly involved and we get certain. So, for me, whatever decision is made, stick to your guns. If your information that you got is sufficient to give the boy another chance, because you talk about due care, right? Because he's an employee of the club. Then stand your ground and give the boy a chance. Now Mason had a whole. He had to know what that comes with, right? He had to know that the fan base is going to be very, very reactive, whether justified or not, right? He had to be able to handle that kind of scrutiny coming back. But at the same time, if the club did their investigation and they decide based on the information that we can bring him back, then I'll let them make sure wherever interview or video or whatever they're going to present, I'll let it come good. Because you see that piece of clip that's in the public domain, that here now, that might be the truth and all. Chances that fabricated, but people don't receive that as that is what happened. So let it come real good. So I don't know if that is what the putting together, if that's the decision to bring him back. But I do agree that or they make a decision or they did all the investigation and now they're coming to U-turn. That will tell me that what kind of investigation will they do? Who was all the advisors in the first place? That all of a sudden all they're gonna make a U-turn, so then all they've been stringing Mason Greenwood all along. Right? So this is just a whole mess, and Man United really, really, really didn't deal with this properly. And for a club like Manchester United, for the as big as we are, as well run as they'd expect that we are, they're just letting us down time after time. But anyway, Dwayne saying here, like they don't want to release him before the transfer close. Alright? Eric saying here, once he plays well and score goals, all will be forgiven by many fans. I interesting comment. I was watching a podcast and one of the fellows was saying, by this time next year, if Greenwood do come back and he banging in and he real playing at the level, nobody gonna be talking about this again. You understand? So then they're gonna be like, well, what was the issue then, Again, anyway, guys. So unless there's anything else to contribute on this matter, let me get closing thoughts.
Oh, Um, Closing thoughts about what we talked about tonight so far. Good luck to the team versus Nottingham Forest. Um, Brace yourselves, put on your seatbelts, put on your life jackets, because this is going to be a very short 2 weeks, but a very long season ahead. And yeah, those are my closing thoughts.
Yeah. Simeon?
No, I mean, it's a real test for just Ten Hag and the board to see. Like, I feel like this is Ten Hag's first real understanding as far as okay, he had 1 year, but to see if he needs somebody else in a transfer window, like what's the board gonna do for me? Like, how much support do I really have in this whole project, of Manchester United? So I think it's gonna be a test to see, if he can do what he did last year, if he can get those players playing at a level again they did last year, if he could, coach those guys that he has to play more smarter football. I think, you know, Forest needs to be that Forest game needs to be like 4 or 5-0. We need to beat we need to beat Forest real bad just to make a statement. And we ain't beat a team bad in the Premiership in a long time. We need to put you know the league on notice because we ain't nobody afraid of United. Ain't nobody scared of nobody. y- No Red Devils. Rashford just put two guys on him. He gonna shoot anyway. Ganacho. I mean, we so easy to defend. I mean, we all know we know what's gonna happen. Like it's just we ain't nobody worried about United. We have to make an example of somebody. It has to start this weekend or next weekend, I should say.
What's your JP? Hey, watch my JP feeling real together that you're Rashford is JP boy. What you doing?
My boy Rashford back on the left, playing back on the left. That is what I want to see Rashford. But honestly, I think the team we have quality players in this team, and these players have to find that team look in them, that team, and stop playing for themselves. Stop playing for highlight reels and stop playing small goal football. Play for a team. Football is a team sport. At this level, nobody should have to tell these fellas that. And I think with the quality players that we have, with the system that Tenor is trying to play, if these players stick to what needs to be done, make better decisions, then we will score goals. Work on it finishing. We're not finishing well, stay some time extra and work on finishing. Anthony loves to cut in and shoot with our left. Stay back and keep working and shooting with our left. Stay back and work on beating your defenders. Put in extra work because you're not playing for Ajax anymore. You're
Correct.
playing for Manchester United, and that is where players' mentality have to be. Know who you're playing for, know what the expectations are of you. If you cannot live up to those expectations, put in a transfer request and go and play for Everton. Go and play for West Ham. Them teams, them teams don't have solutions. Them teams don't look for table. That's what you do.
Hey, I
Oh
mean, let me
yes.
let me think one more thing about Ant. I know Ant. I know people say I hate. I want Anthony to be better. I like people say I hate on Anthony, but I just want him to play. I just want him to play better. If you get to your spot in the penalty area, you get to your spot, you get to your left foot. I don't want to hear about inside the penalty box. Why hitting outside the post? People are like, oh, he missed. He just missed outside. No, he missed
Yeah,
the outside the post from
yeah,
inside the penalty box. It's a bad miss.
That
yeah,
was a
That is
bad
your
miss. That
spot.
was a bad miss. Yeah, that was a
yeah,
That's
bad
your
miss.
leg. That
was
Nah.
he only
Go ahead.
know
Go
to
ahead.
shoot like with that curl in it.
Yeah.
Anthony don't shoot no other way in him.
You know, and we talk about professionals here, but who making millions by
You are
every week,
saying that's what the big boy are making
and you can't shoot properly. You could only curl.
curl boy.
Hey, what you saying? If you don't laugh, you cry. You know, I laugh at me. I laugh because them fellas and them in the condo and in the mansion right now. You dig?
Yes.
So, but I agree with Ali. I agree with Ali. You know, we had a win. You know, and again, if we score goals, you see it. We play with more confidence. You know, we buy into, you know, the manager instructions. Because only when we under pressure, we just started them fellas just started do their own thing and they just abandon the principles and you know the instruction from Ten Hag. He's always say it. You understand? But if they finish the chances that they create, utilizing and applying the principles and stuff from the manager, then we go find ourselves in a better position in the game where we could enjoy the football and the fans could at least watch the game with a little bit of ease. Anyway, so for us up next, let me hope that Ten Hag make the necessary changes to the team one, and let me hope that them fellas and them start you know, getting to, because it was I think we third game last season that we really start to get the ball rolling. So not that I want to mimic last season, I want a better last season, but I guess taking something now, you know. So let me hope Forest is the one going and hold real smoke come next week. And yeah. So fellas, that brings us to the end of the show this evening. It was nice. Simeon, JP, Phil, fellas, thanks for, you know, coming on. Those in the comments, we do appreciate the likes, the shares, the comments. We, you know, always look forward to hearing, you know, your thoughts because I will be here. So don't forget to, if you haven't already, go across on the YouTube side and give us a subscription there as well. So until then, guys, see you all on the next one. Have a good night.